Brasilia, which succeeded Rio de Janeiro as Brazil's capital in 1960, was built in less than 3 years. Its location in the center of Brazil was chosen to help open up the western part of the country. The extraordinarily ambitious plan, mainly the work of Lucio Costa and Oscar Niemeyer, caused a sensation with its avant-garde architecture and its innovative city planning ideals. Because Brasilia was planned and constructed as a whole piece, it doesn't have the mix of commercial, residential, and government functions that happens when a city grows over time. Number 1. Praça dos Três Poderes. Brasilia's governmental center combines some of its most striking landmark buildings and monuments into a stunning showcase of modern architecture. As the name, Praça dos Três Poderes, meaning, Square of the Three Powers suggests, it is surrounded by buildings housing the executive, legislature, and judiciary, the Palácio do Planalto, the official residence of the President, the Supremo Tribunal Federal, Supreme Court, and the Congresso Nacional. Also around the square are the Historical Museum of Brasilia, and the Panteão de Liberdade, Pantheon of Freedom, designed by Oscar Niemeyer, to honor the rebels of the Inconfidência Mineira of 1789, and President Tancredo Neves, who died in 1985, soon after taking office. Number 2. Catedral Metropolitana Nossa Senhora Aparecida. The city's most famous landmark is the unique circular cathedral, designed by Niemeyer, and completed in 1970. Its 16 curved concrete columns soar upward to create a crown that surrounds a glass roof. The natural lighting effect inside is spectacular. When you enter the church, through a darkened tunnel, you will be surprised to discover what you saw from the outside is only the building's roof. Most of the cathedral is underground. The roof itself is composed of 2 layers, with plexiglass over the stained glass. The 4 large statues outside the entrance represent the 4 evangelists. Also outside is a 20-meter freestanding bell tower. Number 3. Palácio dos Arcos. The Palácio dos Arcos, also known as the Palácio Itamaraty, houses the Foreign Ministry, and is one of Oscar Niemeyer's greatest achievements. A long line of symmetrical arches stand above a reflecting pool, the whole ensemble set in beautiful gardens, designed by the noted Brazilian landscape architect, Roberto Burle Marx. The lavishly decorated interior surrounds a semi-roofed courtyard with a garden. The building is open to the public, and a highlight of the interior is the spiraling freestanding staircase, which seems to be suspended in air. Number 4. Monumento JK, President Kubitschek Memorial. The dramatic monument on Praça do Cruzeiro is the memorial to President Juscelino Kubitschek, the larger-than-life president of Brazil, who is considered to be the founder of Brasilia. The monument was designed by Oscar Niemeyer, and many consider it among his finest works. Along with Kubitschek's tomb and a museum devoted to him, the monument contains interesting exhibits on the city he envisioned and saw through to reality, including early plans, construction photography, and other materials that illustrate Brasilia's history. Around the monument are artworks by contemporary sculptors, which, along with its historical interest, make it a popular attraction for tourists. Number 5. Lago do Paranoá, Ponte Juscelino Kubitschek, and Ponteo Lago Sud. On the east side of the city, the Rio Paranoá has been dammed to form a large lake, the Lago do Paranoá. Along its shore are embassies and consulates, sports clubs, restaurants, the university, the Olympic Center, and the Palácio da Alvorada, official residence of the President of the Republic. The Ponte Juscelino Kubitschek, better known as Ponte JK, is a concrete and steel bridge across the lake, supported by 3 crisscrossing arches that tower more than 60 meters above the water. Designed by architect Alexandre Chan and structural engineer Mario Vila Verde, the bridge has received several architectural awards since its completion in 2002. It is especially striking at night, when floodlights accent its soaring curves. One of the most popular places to visit on weekends is the Pontão do Lago Sul, a promenade along the south side of the lake, lined with restaurants and ice cream stands. Number 6. Santuário Dom Bosco, Sanctuary of Dom Bosco. The Church of São João Bosco is dedicated to the 19th century Italian priest, canonized in 1934, whose vision of the foundation of a utopian capital city in the New World near the 15th parallel is considered the inspiration for Brasilia. This sanctuary was built right on the 15th parallel. Architect Vasconcelos Naves designed a square building of 40 tall pointed arches that frame tall windows of stained glass in multiple shades of blue, designed by Claudio Naves and made by Hubert van Doorn. The windows make up most of the walls, and an enormous chandelier is made of more than 7,000 pieces of Murano glass. The large cedar crucifix over the altar was carved by Goffredo Tralli from a single tree. Number 7. Congresso Nacional, National Congress. Yet another landmark of modern architecture is the pair of buildings housing the Chamber of Deputies of Brazil, the lower house, and the Senate, along with their offices. For this, Oscar Niemeyer chose two sharply contrasting designs. For the two houses, he created dish shapes that have been referred to as flying saucers, separating them by a pair of sharply linear rectangular towers. Around these photogenic buildings is a broad lawn with a reflecting pool, and inside are exhibits that include a tunnel of time. You can tour the complex with an English-speaking guide. Number 8. Parque Nacional de Brasilia. Brasilia National Park covers 28,000 hectares in the northwest part of the city, protecting a number of different environments, including the low and crooked trees of the Cerrado, the bush steppe of the Brazilian interior, expanses of scrub and grassland, swampy palm-scattered plains, and the imposing trees of the gallery forests, found on riverbanks and lake shores. The streams in this area, dammed to form Lake Santa Maria, supply the whole of Brasilia with drinking water, and among the park's greatest attractions are its mineral springs. Along with its varied flora, typical of the wild areas of Midwestern Brazil, the park protects a rich and varied fauna, with innumerable species of birds, rheas, wild pigs, giant armadillos, capybaras, pampas deer, rare-maned wolves, jaguars, caimans, anacondas, and other species of snakes. Number 9. Monumental Axis and Torre de TV. The 224-meter tall Brasilia TV Tower is a good place to visit to get an overview of the city and a sense of its layout. It stands at one end of the Burle Marx Garden, and from this vantage point you get a good view of the entire monumental axis and its landmarks, from the President Kubitschek Memorial to the towers of the governmental complex. An observation deck at 74 meters is open to the public for free every day, and on Sundays, a craft market takes place at its base. South of the axis is the popular Sarah Kubitschek City Park, an expansive green space with ponds, theme rides, cafes, sports fields, concert space, and weekend flea markets. Number 10. Memorial dos Povos Indígenas. This outstanding collection of native Brazilian art and artifacts not only records pre-colonial native culture, but celebrates the living traditions of Brazil's indigenous peoples today. Historical and present-day implements, like pottery, baskets, weapons, paddles, and feather headdresses, join artworks, created especially for the museum, in a collection considered one of the best in South America. In designing the unusual round building, patterned after a traditional Yanomamo round house, Oscar Niemeyer consulted with Yanomamo shamans and elders for authenticity. The museum shop is an excellent place to find handmade native crafts. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.